The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And tonight on your news at 10, people in Arkansas and neighboring states are picking up the pieces as new information comes out on the damage caused by yesterday's tornadoes. A look at what we now know.
Timothy needs justice, and he's crying out for justice.
A family rallies their community after seeing video footage of the moments before their son's death at the hands of police. A look at the change they want to see. And former President Donald Trump will travel to New York City this Tuesday to be indicted on hush money charges. What this means for him and why Republicans say it weakens government trust. And good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 10. I'm Tosin Fakile in for Annalisa Gale. We are seeing high wind warnings across the DMV. It's just very windy out there, so let's get straight to meteorologist Scott Sumner. And Scott, these winds are intense.
Yeah, windy enough, obviously, to take down power lines and trees, as you see by this video. Dave, he was out earlier this evening going around our region because there was and still is quite a lot of reports filtering on down across the National Weather Service live chat, which is showing non-thunderstorm wind gusts exceeding 40 and 50 miles an hour. And a lot of that is taking shape and will continue to take shape overnight tonight. Thankfully, the power here in this particular area was restored. However, take a look behind me. We do have power outages across many counties across the area. We're looking at Leesburg in Loudoun County. We're looking at Fairfax County here, where if you follow the legend with it's green, it's between 5,000 and 10,000 potential power outages. That was a while back, but they're still having issues there. We can also add Anne Arundel County, where Annapolis resides, into that, and then further to the north of Baltimore. But again, bottom line here is there are a lot of power outages, and we'll continue to have those gusty winds even into tomorrow morning. So that's going to create much of an issue. And as you can see, our camera's shaking here. This is Reagan National Airport right there. And boy, this is what we have to deal with this evening. I wouldn't want to be on a flight, to be quite honest with you, coming in to the airport. Quite a bit of turbulence. But we are, okay, this has just been upgraded now. Okay, so currently there is still a high wind warning in effect to the wee hours of the morning here. But now parts of our viewing area from Washington County and further west has been taken out of that high wind warning region. So that leaves us with Fauquier County, and we're looking at Prince William County, and we're also looking at, again, Fairfax and Loudoun counties, and of course Frederick, Montgomery County, and PG County here in Maryland. Now, wind gusts. These are some of the higher wind gusts. 59, nearly 60 miles an hour at I-68 at US 219. I-495 at I-295, 50 mile an hour winds. And at GW University, George Washington University here, 56 miles an hour. Currently, we're seeing winds sustained at 30 miles an hour across the district, with the temperature falling into the low 50s as we stand. We'll talk more about the rest of the forecast for tonight and tomorrow coming up.
I also spoke with the FEMA director, Criswell, earlier this evening, and have already requested federal assistance, and they are working quickly to make sure that any resources that we need on the ground here will be provided. Our message and our mission is really simple. The people come first and the paperwork will come second.
Devastation and destruction across the South and Midwest as torrential downpours, high winds blast through that region. 100 members of the state's National Guard have been activated. Not only were homes and businesses destroyed, officials say many are injured, some dead, following the severe weather. Now, at this hour, officials are reporting 21 people have died because of these storms. This happened in multiple towns in Arkansas and also at a concert in Illinois, where the roof collapsed on one person. Dozens more were also injured and trapped in their homes under a pile of debris. Police and first responders described the scene as absolute chaos. Now, reporters with our sister station in Little Rock, Arkansas, were on the ground. They bring us a closer look at the damage and speak with the people impacted.
It feels like a war zone or something, almost like a bomb went off out here.
Roofs ripped,
Cars cleaved and trees toppled all across the neighborhood surrounding Osage and Pontiac Drives in North Little Rock.
It just brought the entire back deck up to the front, and everybody was just panicking.
Zachary Phillips is one person who lost everything, his home completely exposed, and his whole family is hoping to stay with friends until they can plan what's next. He isn't alone. Down Flintlock Road, Cole Hay saw the storm coming and drove off to outrun it, barely making it.
We saw it right over there, so we just hauled the tail out of here. The car got caught under a tree, and they were pulling him out.
All afternoon, emergency responders worked to clear streets. At the same time, people walked over debris to collect anything they could.
Our friend is out of town, and her animals were home, and so she called me because our house was destroyed, but the dogs are still inside. It's really wild because my house is right down the road, and there's no damage.
Everyone banded together with chainsaws, tarps, bandages, or open rooms to give those in need a helping hand. But what comes next is still a mystery to these homeowners, and they hope they can find an answer to it soon.
I hope that everybody's all right, and I hope that everybody keeps on keeping on. But I hope I never see anything like this again.
Well, back here in the DMV, the family of a man shot and killed by Fairfax County Police continue their call for justice tonight. Timothy Johnson was killed near Tyson's Corner in February after police say the 37-year-old stole a pair of sunglasses. Now, more than a month later, Johnson's family says they're waiting for those officers involved to be arrested. Our Dave Laval tells us why the family wants these men taken into custody.
This has not been an easy journey. But today marks the 38th day.
Yet it's one Melissa Johnson admits she's been forced to take.
My voice is now added to the voices of the mothers and fathers whose child senselessly died at the hand of those sworn to protect us and to serve.
Johnson is the mother of Timothy Johnson. She spoke Saturday, more than a week since the release of police body camera footage from that night.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Fairfax County Police shot and killed the 37-year-old Johnson February 22nd. He had been accused of stealing 2 pairs of sunglasses from Tyson's Corner Center.
By now, you have all seen the edited or unedited body cam footage from Officer Shiflett, which shows the unjustified killing of Timothy Johnson.
Sergeant Wesley Shiflett fired the deadly shot. He's been fired from the department. He has not been arrested. Officer First Class James Sadler also fired his gun that night. He remains on restricted duty as the investigation continues.
He does not get a pass. He's not get a pass here.
Lock him up.
He needs to be fired and charged as well.
Carl Cruz is the family's attorney. He wants both men arrested.
I have a heavy heart because Timothy needs justice, and he's crying out for justice. But we have not given it to him.
Police did not respond to our request to comment, but Chief Kevin Davis explained why he took the action he did March 23rd when he released the video the same day.
There was a failure to live up to the expectations of our agency, and in particular, use of force policies, protocols, and procedures.
Johnson did not have a weapon. Investigators have not yet said why the officers shot Johnson or if any charges will be filed against them.
I am here, a grieving, strong, courageous Black mother, proud of her son.
Melissa Johnson waits to find out why her son lost his life. In Fairfax, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
And Fairfax County Police did not respond to requests to comment on this story. Police Chief Kevin Davis said at the time he released the body camera footage, the officers failed to live up to the department's expectations regarding use of force policies, protocols, and procedures. Developing this evening, D.C. police have arrested a man in connection to a homicide that happened last night. Police say they were called to the scene on New York Avenue just before 7 p.m. They arrived at a hotel, found a woman dead. That woman police have identified as 31-year-old Christy Bautista. Later that evening, the suspect, 43-year-old George Sidner Jr., was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. And Montgomery County Police have released security footage of a robbery that happened in February. Police say the 4 suspects broke into a tobacco, hut, and cigar store in Burtonsville, smashing glass displays and stealing property before driving off. A reward of up to $10,000 is being offered for any information that leads to an arrest. Some frightening moments inside a Forestville grocery store today as a man opened fire inside the Shoppers supermarket. There have been no reports of any injuries. Prince George's County Police say the gunman drove away in a blue sedan. While the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Wednesday approved selling the leading version of naloxone without a prescription. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson has more.
A life-saving overdose reversal medication will soon be more accessible.
Whether you have this in a church, in a school, in your home.
West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito says she has been pushing for years for the FDA to make Narcan available over the counter. And just this week, the FDA gave drugstores the green light to sell the nasal spray without a prescription.
I think this will be very beneficial.
The CDC says overdoses have contributed to more than 100,000 deaths in the last year. Capito says the FDA's change will save lives.
Very effective at stopping overdoses.
The drug is commonly used by police and other first responders to help someone suffering from an overdose.
If by chance it would be used on somebody who wasn't overdosing, it doesn't have any negative effects.
And Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown calls it just one step in the fight against the opioid crisis. He wants Congress to provide funding for more treatment centers.
We want doctors to help with this, obviously, but we've got to get help for the so many people that are addicted.
According to the company, Narcan will be available over the counter by late summer. And the FDA commissioner says the next step will be for the company to lower its price from the average $50 it currently costs for each dose. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson.
This evening, we are getting a better picture of the charges that former President Trump is facing after being indicted by a grand jury. Sources tell the Associated Press that Trump faces multiple charges and at least one felony offense tied to, quote, falsifying business records. So far, the indictment still remains sealed. News Nation's Robert Sherman takes a look at what led to this point.
On the streets of New York, you can't possibly avoid it. Emblazoned on the front page of every paper and locked in the lenses of TV cameras from across the globe, Manhattan is at the center of the political universe after a grand jury made history Thursday, indicting former President Donald Trump in the so-called hush money case involving adult actress Stormy Daniels. It's the first time ever criminal charges have been brought against a former U.S. president.
At this point, he is no longer going to be able to compete merely in the court of public opinion. Competing in actual court is a different thing. Spin won't matter. Facts will matter. The law will matter.
Professor James Sample of Hofstra University says this is the beginning of what will likely be a months-long, if not longer, process.
Maybe even approximately a year before a trial, if there ever is one.
Since the indictment is sealed, there's still much the public does not know, including the specific charges. But at least 12 of 23 grand jurors voted in favor of handing down an indictment, which only requires probable cause.
That is the lowest standard in the criminal justice system. To go to trial, you have to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt.
A judge has reportedly been assigned, so next up, the former president will be arraigned, meaning he will fly from Florida to New York and surrender himself next Tuesday. That will likely include a mugshot and fingerprinting, but as Reuters reports, handcuffs will be off the table. The former president's attorney speaking to News Nation's Ashley Banfield Thursday night by phone.
He's ready to go. He's ready to fight. I mean, he's, obviously was very upset and shocked. We just believe at the end of the day, rule of law would have prevailed.
House Republicans have criticized the investigation, sending letters to District Attorney Alvin Bragg, calling the case a, quote, politically motivated prosecution and demanding the DA testify in Washington.
Well, he's saying that we're inserting ourselves into New York's sovereignty. Well, he's inserting himself into a national political race and the presidential race on top of it. Come and answer the questions, Mr. Bragg.
What are the charges against President Donald Trump in the indictment yesterday?
District Attorney Bragg refusing to answer any questions from reporters Friday. but his office hitting back, telling GOP lawmakers to butt out, and writing further, quote, "The charges filed yesterday were brought by citizens of New York, doing their civic duty as members of a grand jury who found probable cause to accuse Mr. Trump of having committed crimes in New York."